We continue our coverage of the mass shooting that happened in Rochester Hills yesterday. 9 people shot and injured while playing at a splash pad. 2 of the victims, an 8-year-old and 4-year-old boy. Now, shootings like this one that we have seen happen far too often, but not usually in a peaceful, quiet community like Rochester Hills. I'm joined now by the mayor of Rochester Hills, Bryan Barnett. Thank you for being here with us this morning. First off, do you have any new information that you can share with us from overnight?
We've obviously secured the area of the splash pad. It's fenced as the officers continue to do their work. More importantly, we're checking very regularly with the hospitals on the victims. Don't have anything new to report, but certainly especially focused on the 2 young boys.
Absolutely. Of course, our hearts go out to them this morning. Now, as a member of this community, what have the past 24 hours been like for you?
A nightmare, really. I've been blessed to be the mayor of the city for a long time, 18 years, and in my time, I've watched many of my colleagues go through mass shootings all across the country, and somewhat foolishly, you think it could never happen in yours. We are and have been Michigan's safest city for about the past 7 years, and then you wake up and something like yesterday happens with a phone call, and while there's lots of things to unpack, certainly one of the first is just the tremendous work that the first responders did to get there quickly. The way the community around the Brooklyn splash pad responded, immediately with tourniquets and just an attitude of just what you'd see in a close-knit community. I certainly want to mention my immense pride in the way our teams handled a terrible situation and brought much of it to resolution relatively quick.
How does the city plan to help those impacted by this shooting moving forward?
Yeah, well, that we are a close-knit community, and my commitment is to do just that. We are standing up services today at the Department of Public Services building, free services for anyone in the community that was there that needs to talk through what they may have seen or just get some help on their own. We're standing up services for our team members, our employees throughout the next week. And we're not going anywhere. The Brooklands is the largest neighborhood in the city. It started back in the 1920s. It has a tremendous history of its own. Many people refer to themselves as being from the Brooklands even before they say they're from Rochester Hills. And so we're gonna work with them. We're gonna support them, and we're not going anywhere. We're going to make sure they know that their community loves them. And until everything is back to somewhat normal, we're not going to leave them for 1 minute.
Real quick before we let you leave, what would you like to say to members of your community and how they might be feeling this morning?
I'm sure there's a sense of fear that that shatters a sense of peace that normally exists in our community. We have over 1 million people visit our parks every year, and I'm sure there are people in our parks today. I will be in our parks later on today celebrating Father's Day. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to have emotion. But we will continue on, we will rebound, and we will be the great city that we have always been. But right now, our focus is on those folks that are fighting in the hospitals around the region, and we'll continue to stand with them until they're healed.
Our hearts are heavy for the Rochester Hills community this morning. Mayor Bryan Barnett, thank you so much for taking some time this morning and speaking with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. And of course, still to come in our next half hour, we continue our coverage on that breaking news. 9 people shot and injured after a day at the splash pad turned violent. 7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels is live at the scene. Sarah, what's ahead?
We're taking you live to the splash pad breaking down what deputies say happened here Saturday evening and how the community members here are coping.
7 News Detroit this morning starts right now with a breaking news alert.
We continue to follow that tragedy out of Rochester Hills, a mass shooting at a water park filled with families trying to enjoy the day at the park. Details are still very limited right now, but investigators say 9 people were shot at the Brooklyn splash pad. 2 of those victims, young boys, an 8- and 4-year-old. That 8-year-old critically injured, shot in the head. A 4-year-old in stable condition. Shots rang out around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon at the park near Auburn and DeQuinder. Investigators say the gunman, who eventually took his own life, was battling with mental health issues. Now, I spoke with Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard earlier this hour. He says he has not received any status updates on the victims, which is an encouraging sign that hopefully they are in the process of recovering. He also spoke to me about what's next in the investigation as they work to try and find answers.
We most likely would get insight on the question you ask about motive would be any writings that are, pen and paper type or digital. That could be, recordings. It could be searches. It could be, postings, whatever that might be. So obviously that will be a layered investigation with our computer crimes unit, with some of our digital experts, our investigators from the substation in Rochester Hills, and our special investigation unit will pore over everything to try to have some window into what motivated this individual.
That was Sheriff Michael Bouchard. The investigation stretched a mile away from the splash pad as police surrounded the suspect at a home in Shelby Township. Again, police have confirmed that that suspect is dead and died by suicide. 7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michael joins us now live from the Brooklyn splash pad. And Sarah, is there any activity out there this morning?
Yeah, just moments ago, Allie, people arrived here at the splash pad. They appear to be cleaning up from last night. This shooting happened just after 5 Saturday evening. The shooter fired around 20 shots here at the splash pad before leaving the scene. Now, according to the sheriff's office, when they arrived here, they found the shooter's gun, which was registered to him. That's how investigators were able to find the suspect's home in Shelby Township, where they attempted to make contact, but they found the shooter was dead inside. The sheriff's office says that they believe the shooter to be a 42-year-old who died by suicide. There were 9 people who were shot at this splash pad. The sheriff department tells us that many of them were members of the same family. Among the victims is an 8-year-old boy in critical condition and a 4-year-old boy believed to be in stable condition. The 2 are brothers. Now, the splash pad here is relatively new. It was recently built for the families living around here to enjoy. Those I've spoken to tell me it's something that many families here were very excited to spend their summer days at.
It's an absolute tragedy for Rochester Hills. We're going to be in mourning for a long time. This is just something you just don't get over overnight.
Rochester Hills will be offering free mental health services today from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for those who feel they may benefit. I put that information for you with this article on our website. Reporting live in Rochester Hills, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
It's just absolutely heartbreaking that on Father's Day of all days, we're talking about another mass shooting that has happened in our community. Sarah, thank you so much for all the details in the live report that you just presented. Meanwhile, Governor Gretchen Whitmer has released a statement on X responding to the shooting, saying, quote, "I am heartbroken to learn about the shooting in Rochester Hills. We are monitoring the situation as updates continue to come in and are in touch with local authorities." And we'll continue our breaking news coverage both on air and online at WXYZ.com throughout the day as we learn more about this tragedy.